that you'll move again. 70%. I approached my doctors. I took them the evidence from all these doctors. I begged them. I said to them, please, just contact these doctors. Contact them. And let's resolve this problem. Isn't that a normal human right? Isn't that a right you have as a guest to the country? The protection of law? The protection from your own country? No, sir. Denied. I was told by 5 great doctors as they stood round my bed, and they said, those doctors don't know what they're talking about. And that was their exact words to me. They don't know what they're talking about. They wheeled me into the scanning room, took another MRI scan. The same 5 doctors stood round my bed and then said to me, Kevin, your spine has gone back into place. There is absolutely nothing wrong. Everything is normal. After nearly 6 years of suffering, there is no reason for your pain. Absolutely nothing. No medical reason. I picked up the telephone when I got out of the hospital and I spoke to my doctors back in India. And I said to them, this is what's been told to me. The doctor on the other end began to laugh as he said, I can expect that, sir, within the first 6 weeks of your injury, but certainly not after 6 years. He said, I can guarantee you, your spine is in the same condition it was. You think God doesn't know what's going on? Let me tell you something. I took my plight all the way up to the government of Ireland. I wrote to the Prime Minister of Ireland at the time. And I said to him, Mr. Prime Minister, this is what's going on. My life has been exchanged for €30 a month. Please help me. Please save my life. I got a letter back that said this. We are investigating your complaint. Your complaint. For 4 weeks, I heard nothing. One morning, I wrote another letter to the Prime Minister. And I said to him, Mr. Prime Minister, God put you there. God put you in that position. God expects you to do what is right, to stand for truth and righteousness. And if you don't, sir, my God is far greater than you think. And He will remove you from office. I'm sure there must have been a lot of chuckling, a lot of laughing. But 4 weeks later, the man was out of office, exposed. God's judgment is final. I next wrote to the health minister at the time. Told her the same story of what's happening. That my entire family is suffering. That they have taken from me not only my life, but they have robbed my family from all the future. You see, when I came into this country, I didn't come with nothing. I came with millions in investments that were due to pay out. Millions. And I knew with my 10-year contract guaranteed from the government and with my investment that not only would I be able to look after my own family, but I'd provide them with a home. I would be able to provide for my children their education and not take 1 cent, not 1 cent out of this country. You think God doesn't keep His people righteous? Do you think I'm a leech? That He is so small that I have to hang on to somebody else? God gave me a brain to use. So I told the health minister the same thing. I got the same letter back. We're investigating. 4 weeks later, I wrote back to her. Said the same thing. Only this time I said to her, Mrs. Minister, let me tell you, God will remove you and your entire cabinet for the harm you're doing to His people. Because you are allowing it now. You've been made aware of it. God has brought it out. But what you do with it is what is the end result about. 4 years later, the entire cabinet was gone. The whole party was gone. You think prayer doesn't work? Do you think God doesn't know what's going on? Hundreds of people sitting in the same boat. 40,000 MRI scans not even looked at. Who did you pay for that, sir? Who did you pay for that operation? I personally know of one man. Personally know. Had massive stomach troubles. Bloated up. They operated and took 1/3 of his stomach out. He came round after a while, went back. He was told it's just the after effects of the operation. It'll subside and the pain will go. The next time they had to remove another 1/3 of his stomach because he had the same problem. The original problem hadn't been taken. And now, with 1/3 of his stomach left, and the original problem unresolved. Somebody's been paid for it. Somebody's making money out of it. And let me tell you something. I don't care who you are. Their blood is upon your hands. Their blood will be required from you the day you pass from this earth. The day you pass from this earth. Now let me tell you. The medication I was on. I was on each day 180 milligrams of OxyContin. 1,200 milligrams of Lyrica. 80 milligrams of antidepressants, 40 milligrams of steroids, each and every day, for approximately the first 3.5 years. And I can tell you this, God doesn't leave question marks, does not leave question marks. Because if I took 1 day's worth, just 1 day, I believe if I put that into a racehorse, that racehorse would drop. Would drop. After the first 3.5 years, when everything collapsed, when all the veins collapsed and the arteries collapsed, and I couldn't breathe and the throat had collapsed, and the taxi man rushed me to hospital. All they did was remove the OxyContin, put in the methadone. Because you see, we get paid for prescriptions, I think. I can't put my head on the block for that, sir. But it's my belief. It's my belief that much of this was covered up. A man has the right to save his life, sir. A man has the right to have accountability for what has been done to him, sir. I have a family, a wife and children, who for 7 years, had to watch a husband and father lie paralyzed, unable to move, without high dosages of pain medication. They had to watch this for 7 years. When I asked doctors, why am I going blind? I was told, we don't know why. They sent me to all over the place. The doctor that examined my eyes, the first one, examined it, said to me, oh, you've got this problem and that problem. Went in, got my medical file, and 20 minutes later said to me, I haven't got any problem. There's nothing wrong with you. Let me tell you what the side effects are. As the veins in your eyes are more and more collapsing and being restricted, so your vision is impaired. Each year, for the 7-year period, each year, it was above the normal rate for an aging man my age. But nobody knew why. And then when you read what the manufacturers tell you, they tell you that that's what it does. Again, billions, going where? Who are we knocking? Who are we knocking for this condition? You think this is it? This is only scratching the surface. I personally know of a man, doctors had his daughter removed to see the tears in their eyes, to see the heartbreak in their eyes. Something that can be resolved by mere talking, chatting. Now there's huge court cases, each one having to get to solicitors. Who's paying for this? Who's paying for this? Mr. Prime Minister, Who's paying for it? He could have stepped opposite the doctors and had a chat. But all because he asked too many questions. All because his inquiries were coming to the base of the problem. He was getting too close to the base, the truth of the original problem with his daughter. So they had to sidetrack him. And all they did was to pull the rug from out underneath him. You say I've got rights, but deny me? When I take my credentials and I present them and I show a man what I came with, the investments I had, and get told, forget about it. Would you? Would you? If a country invited you over, sir, and stripped you of everything, and then stripped your family of their entire future, would you forget about it? You see, we're so apt to point fingers. We're so apt to go off on the wrong end of the stick. You go and you take away from the people that really need it. And the ones that are causing it, you let them go free. You see, in the beginning, people didn't believe that the clergy were doing the things they did. We didn't believe in a government that was doing what they did. We didn't believe developers were doing what they did. We didn't believe bankers were doing what they did. We didn't believe solicitors were running off with millions. Now, I ask you, do you believe? What do you see, sir? What do you see? What do you see? I met many, many people. With everything you have evidence. I'm going to end off now, most of it. I can't get into because it's already taken too long. And all I ask is that I be given a fair chance to have accountability for people that destroyed my life as your guest, for people that destroyed my family as your guest. I would like to have my basic human rights that for so long, hundreds of letters later, have been denied. And it's up to you. What do you do with it? What you do with it is up to you. And all I pray, may God bless you mightily as He has blessed me with life, health, happiness and peace and joy of a wonderful family that went right through every single step with me, holding my hand as I hold on to the hand of God. Amen.